Welcome, everyone. It is my pleasure to introduce David Rutz to us. My name is Pamela Schwartz, by the way. We're down here in Orlando, Florida, and we have the benefit of having David Rutz join us virtually from Michigan. And he's going to share with us everything that we need to know about the DAC, David Allen Capital services that we have. And just to give you a little bit of some background, David Rutz is the founder and president of David Allen Capital. He and his beautiful wife, Marlo, have 6 children. He loves helping business owners, and that's why he started DAC, because the truth is that small businesses don't get enough breaks that they need. The banks often will not be helpful to them, and so we have a way to make their lives easier in doing the things that will work best for them. To meet and greet and inform business owners of the alternative capital industry, and he does that with integrity. He is one of the most inspirational speakers that I know, and it is my pleasure to bring to you David Rutz.
Well, thank you very much, Pamela. I appreciate it. What a kind introduction that is. And for all of you in the room there in Orlando, thank you for making the trip out. I know you get the opportunity to meet Pamela, Adrian, Tom, and some other leaders in the area, and fabulous to see some of the faces that were in the room. What a great group. I wish I were there. I know that, you know, the invitation for me to travel there was there. Unfortunately, today I wasn't able to make the trip, but thanks to technology, here we are live. And now because of that, people from all over the country are able to come in from the Zoom. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you for the invitation. Appreciate all of you as leaders. Now, Pamela, I know we had some potential clients who wanted to hear about this, and we also have agents. So why don't you steer me a little bit? Do we have some agents that or potential clients we want to speak to at this point about our fund?
We do.
Okay.
Yes. I want to make sure that we just go through the presentation as if that the room is filled with people who are prospects for the business. And
Beautiful.
That's
you mean for the funding?
As small business owners, correct.
Okay, beautiful. So I wanted to talk to all of you as business owners then, for those of you who are in the room who are business owners, or if anyone watches this in the future that may be a business owner. Let me begin by just saying that this company was started for you. And a lot of people say that, but I am a business owner. I've been a business owner since 1991. And one of my biggest struggles in business ownership was not creating sales, was not cutting expenses and driving revenues, although those are obviously challenges. The bigger problem was when doing that, and doing that even whether it was well or poorly, getting access to working capital, getting access to money to help take advantage of opportunities or to help get through a tight pinch. I was either growing and needed money to help fund that growth at a less expensive manner with inventory discounts or expanding into new buildings or expanding warehousing, et cetera, getting shipping costs down. So I either needed money to expand and drive costs down or hire new staff, et cetera, improve systems, operations. You know, the opportunities are endless, right? So I was either growing and needed capital to take care of that, or I was in a flat period or a decline in sales and yet needed money to get through a pinch because we didn't want to go through layoffs for a seasonal issue, or we didn't want to shut down buildings for seasonal issues, etc. So whenever faced with that trial, I'd go to my bank, right? Where do we go? We go to our bank for capital. But the unfortunate thing was I couldn't find banking that existed for small businesses. And we were doing about $1 million a month in sales. So we were small, but we weren't as small as a lot of companies, right? And banking just doesn't cater to smaller businesses. And so what I found was if I needed to get a business loan, first of all, it would take a couple months and I'd have to put up collateral, right? My house that I'm in, or if not my house, it would have to become the building that I didn't own, I was leasing. So the long story short is capital didn't exist. So when I learned of alternative capital, and I learned that alternative capital was available, but not from the big banks, I said, I got to get the word out about this. This is in 2014, I learned of alternative capital. It had been about 4 years old at that point. Maybe you've heard of it. Simple, fast business capital. A lot of people are advertising this now. And what happened is in 2014, when I learned of it, I thought, my goodness, this has got to get out to people like you. You watching this, you're a business owner. And I thought if they knew what I knew now, they could take advantage of this. They could take advantage of their growth opportunities, or they could get through that tight pinch without having to close down or sell a big part of their company. And I want to get the word out. So I started David Allen Capital. My middle name happens to be Allen. Not too creative, I understand. But David Allen Capital was started to bring information to business owners like you. Now, I wanted to do it with integrity because there's a lot of great alternative capitals out there, but there's a lot more that aren't great. There's a lot more that really are predatorial. And so I didn't want to represent them, and I wanted to go through and find the best ones out there and provide a service to you as a business owner where you don't have to necessarily do your shopping. Let us do the shopping for you. We want to represent you. So we do a free application with a no obligation to proceed for you, where when you apply through us, we can go out and search through all the top alternative providers. We have contracts with all of them, and we let them negotiate the best offers with us, and we take the best offer we can get from all of them to you. So you don't have to go around and search all of them. You don't have to know whether you're working with a good provider or not. We represent all the best providers, the publicly traded ones and the private ones. We represent all of them. If you've heard about them on TV, we represent them, but they may not be the best offer for you. So Delta is not always the best airline to fly if you're looking for price, right? So what are you looking for? Money you can count on, integrity, and also good price. And we want to bring you all of that with our providers. So we launched this company. We've now helped over 1,000 businesses. We've helped almost 2,000 now gain access to capital and help create growth in their business. So if you're looking for capital to grow, or if ever the time may arrive where you need it, rest assured we can help you get capital. You don't have to worry about whether you have collateral. You don't have to worry about whether you have good credit. All we look at, primarily, I shouldn't say all, but what we lead with is your revenue, your current revenue. If you're doing revenue today of anywhere from $10,000 per month or higher, we can probably get you an offer as long as you've been in business 4 months, and you can give us your bank statements, your checking account statements that show you're depositing that $10,000 a month or more. Now, if you can get money from the big bank, it's going to be less expensive. So you should go to the big bank. If you don't want to wait for the big bank to give you the approval, or you don't want to put your house up on the line, or you don't want to go through that 2 months process hoping to get qualified and maybe find out you won't be. I mean, 80% of the people don't get approved at the big bank. With us, over 80% do get approved. So if you want to get an offer, you come to us, you fill out a pre-qualification form. It's really simple. Whoever invited you to look at this has got a website you can go to. You fill out your pre-qualification form. Our team, our internal team out of South Carolina takes over. We have agents in every state now, but our internal team in South Carolina will reach out to you. They'll talk to you. They'll get your application back. They'll get your bank statements, and they'll go out and find the best offer for you. They'll present it to you, and you get to say no. That's a great thing. You can say, no, I don't want that, or it's too expensive, or I want more money, or I want a shorter term or longer term. We'll get to the best offer. You can always say no. Over 80% of the time, though, our clients say yes to the offer we get them because they're satisfied with it. If you're not satisfied, we don't want you to take the offer. We're not trying to strap debt on you. We're trying to empower you. We're trying to fuel you for growth. I'm a business owner at heart. This is what I do. I don't want to give you debt. I want to give you working capital that you can turn into a lot more revenue, a lot more profit. Or if you're on your last leg and if you don't get money in today, your landlord's shutting down the business, or you're not paying your payroll and you got to make payroll this week, then of course we want to help you, and we believe then, get you that working capital. But most of our revenue most of the loans or advances we provide business owners are actually opportunity-based. They're helping to fuel your business. So I would just say this: qualifications are $10,000 a month in revenue, a 500 FICO score, personal FICO score, 4 months in business, have to be in the United States. If you qualify with those 4 things, over 80% of the time, we're going to get you an offer of some kind this week. Today, we funded a $100,000 client who applied earlier this week. Monday, they applied. They've already got the $100,000 in their bank. A $95,000 client applied Friday, already has the money in their bank. A $25,000 client applied Monday, already has the money in the bank. So we have funded $300,000 in the last 2 days, $295,000, amongst multiple different deals, all of them who've applied in the last 4 days. So what we're doing is helping business owners like you. We'd love to help you. It may not be something you need right now. It may not something you believe you'll ever need. However, you may. And I didn't think I would need money until I was we bottled juice products in one of my companies. And my bottler called me one day and said, David, you're shutting down our assembly line, our juice line, for 4 hours, actually about 5 hours. So we can't do anything. We can't shut it down, clean it up, and put another run on. So you're taking our whole day of our plant now. You're no longer a half day. You're just over half. If you can get us a few $100,000 more, we'll run your product all day long and we'll give you triple that in output. And I said, give me a day. And I called my bank and I said, I need $300,000 more. We're giving them $400,000. We need $300,000 more so that we can triple actually. It was going to triple our output of beverage bottling. And my bank said, well, how much equity do you have in your home? And there's no way we can give you an answer in the next week. I'm like, I need an answer by Friday. They're bottling my product Friday. And they hemmed and they hawed. And the answer is, I would have got approved over 3 months if I put my house up on the line, right? With us, we would have gotten that $300,000 within 2 days. Now, it would have cost us. Our pricing is not cheap. It's collateral free. Collateral free, approved in under a day or 2 days, sometimes 3 days if you're high risk. But an offer that quick, it's not going to be cheap. So if you can get money at the big bank, or you got friends and family who are willing to give you money and you don't mind that burden or that pressure, that's where you want to go. But if you need working capital and you can't get it elsewhere and you need to go to the alternative capital marketplace, we are the best place, David Allen Capital, because we represent all of them. You heard of on-deck lending? We represent them. They're great. They're just not always the best for you. Credibly, represent them. Rapid Finance, owned by Quicken Mortgage, represent them. You name them, we represent them. Which one's best for you? We don't know either until we send it to all of them and we look at the offers that come back. So you could go out and look at each one of them and talk to each one of them. There's over 40 we represent. There's probably over 100 out there. Most of them you don't want to get money from. You miss a payment, they may drain your accounts, right? So we don't want to represent people like that. But we represent credible companies. We've already put them through the ringer. If they don't meet our needs for serving you, then we stop representing them. So you're not taking a risk with our providers. So with that, if you need capital, get with the person who referred you, get to their website, fill out the pre-qualification form, and let us get you some capital. You can always say no. And if you don't need it now, don't forget the website of the person who referred you. Keep it, put it in your email, put it in case your bottler calls you one day and says, give us X amount of money by Friday. In case someone comes to you and says, you can double your restaurant size, you can increase your output, you can get a new stove, or a stove breaks down, or whatever it may be, you never know. It's nice to know you've got a safety net like David Allen Capital on standby, ready to go to work for you. So that's business capital. I'm happy to take any questions if anyone has any, and then I can go into how we've expanded now, because we've expanded into payment processing in a new way that's unbelievable to save business owners a bunch of money, and we've also moved into equipment finance. But I'll stop there, Pamela. Maybe you or someone else has a question about the business capital. I'd be happy to answer it.
Perfect. If you could go into a little bit more detail as to what is the shortest time that somebody can put in an application, what does it cost them, and how quickly could they possibly get funding thereafter?
Great questions, Pamela. The answer is we've done deals in one day where they apply in the morning and have funds that night, but it's very rare. So I would say on average, we get you an offer within 1 business day of us getting all your documents, which is your application, 3 months of your bank statements, your checking account statements for your business, a driver's license, and voided check. Those are the 4 items our underwriters need to see to verify certain things and to get approvals. So then we give you an offer. That's usually within 1 business day. Sometimes it takes 2 business days if we get a lot of declines. So if we get an approval at our first 10 providers, they're our best providers, we don't even go to the other 30. So we present an offer right away. If for some reason we get declines at those for different reasons, industry, credit, amount of your average daily balance, there's a lot of things that could impact it. Then we go to the secondary set. And so it may take an extra day. So maybe it takes 2 days to get an offer, but it's 1 day generally, up to 2 days, we give you an offer. Okay, you've been approved for $50,000. Now, as an example, the approval amount is generally about 1 to 2 times what you're doing in monthly revenue. So if you're doing $20,000 a month in monthly revenue, generally we'll get you an offer between $15,000 and $30,000. I like to say a rule of thumb is whatever you're doing per month in revenue, that's probably about what the offer will be for. Okay, these are all short-term advances, short-term working capital. If you're doing $100,000 a month in revenue, we could probably get you $100,000. The largest we do, we say it's from $10,000 to $1 million in funding. We've had offers of $1.3 million before. That client chose to only take $350,000, but we got them approved for $1.3 million. No collateral, no real estate being put up in under a week. That's pretty special. It's pretty special. And they took $350,000 and they had that money a week after applying with us. And the delay was deciding how much they wanted. That's pretty cool. So to further answer your question though, generally you get an offer and the offer is about what you're doing in monthly revenue. Now the cost, as I said, it can be expensive if there's not an opportunity you're pursuing or not a tight pinch. You don't want to take money because you're straddling yourself with some debt. But if you take the money and it's going to fuel your growth, like that bottling example I gave, I could have borrowed $300,000, got $800,000 worth of juice for it. And we were selling it, and I mean juice, actually drinking juice, not some people call juice interest. Got $800,000 worth of product for that $300,000. It was a good investment for me. I couldn't get the money from my bank, so I missed out on that opportunity. That would have saved me $500,000 by getting that $300,000. So the cost is going to be anywhere from 1.2 times what you borrow all the way up to 1.5 times what you borrow. So let me give you an example. If you borrowed $10,000, your cost, your repayment, total repayment would be 10,000 times 1.2, which is 12,000, all the way up to 10,000 times 1.5 is 15,000. So if you were given $10,000 offer this week, it would say something like, we've approved you for $10,000. Your repayment amount is $12,000 all the way up to 15. Depends on a lot of factors, how long you keep the money, your type of business, etc. So here's 10,000. You have to pay back 12 to 15, whatever the total is. Maybe it's 13.7 or 12.9 or 14.4, whatever the amount is. And you have to pay that back by 9 months, 12 months, 18 months. There's different terms up to 2 years. Okay, the shorter you keep it, the less you pay back. Okay, but it also, your payments are higher then because you're paying off a lot more quickly. So it's generally 1.2 to 1.5 times what you borrow. That customer that got $100,000 today is paying back $131,000 as an example. Okay, so now you say, wow, pretty expensive. And I've disclosed several times, it is pretty expensive if you don't have a good need for that 100 grand. But let me tell you a little story of my first client that took a offer at 1.5 times. This was a Mexican restaurant that always had a line out the door. And there's a small restaurant. And had a big parking lot, small restaurant. And she said, I want to build on my parking lot. I want to put a brick wall around part of it, make it a patio, put a canopy over it in case it's raining, put some string lights in there, and a couple of heat lamps, and do it up new tables, and give it a real cafe feel. And it's going to cost me about 100 grand. I need $100,000. So she quoted it, had 100,000, but it was going to almost double the size of her seating. And she figured she could do an extra $400,000 to $600,000 a year in revenue if she built this patio. Okay. Well, she applied. We got her approved for 100,000, but only one of all of our providers approved her, and they all declined her for various reasons I don't need to get into. But she got approved from one of them only, but they wanted the highest risk possible. They wanted her to pay back $150,000 on that $100,000 in 9 months. I told her she was declined. I didn't even present their offer. This is when I was first new in the business, because I just thought that's a ripoff. That's crazy. I'm not presenting $100,000. You got to pay back $150,000 in 9 months. I told her she was declined. She was very upset. She said, "Oh, I had a whole lot of hope in you. I was hoping this could work. Man, I'm missing out on all these customers. People drive up, they see the line, they don't stop, they go. If I could just get them seated, I could keep serving, and we've got the same kitchen." And I said, "Well, we did get you an offer, but it was $100,000. You got to pay back $150,000 in 9 months." She said, "I'll take it." And that's when I learned that I always said, if the opportunity is greater than the cost, you proceed. But I always put a max in my head on what the cost could be or should be. And she said, "I'll take it." She paid back that $150,000 in those 9 months. She did an extra $600,000 in sales, and she has for the last 2 years, more than that actually. Do you think she's glad she got the 100 grand? Of course. So if you don't have an opportunity like that, and you only get proved at the highest, risk there is, and you got to pay back 1.5, and you don't want it, you could just say, no, I don't want to pay, I don't want that. And you'd be one of the 20% who doesn't accept the offer. Depends on the desire of what you're going for. So hopefully that answered your question on the terms. Is anywhere up to 3 months, up to 2 years. The pricing is anywhere between 1.2 to 1.5 times what you borrow or what you're given. And I think that was your question. I think I got them all answered.
Yeah, and you know what, I think one of the question I'd like to delve a little bit deeper into is when business owners are trying to get loans from bigger banks, they're talking about longer term deals, and therefore they may be talking about very large compounded interest deals. So sometimes people don't realize, and any of us that own a home know the feeling of, you buy a house for this, and then you go to the closing and you fill out the paperwork and you realize you may have bought a house for this, but this is what you're going to be paying over the life of the course of your mortgage. And I think that that's something to keep in mind as well for people who are small business owners, that first of all, if they're going to get a deal from a bank, that the bank is not going to sugarcoat it. You're not going to walk away without paying a good fee over the course of a longer period of time. And if they're not eligible, this is a chance for them to have an opportunity to do expansion. We even haven't talked about yet about the equipment financing. That's a possibility as well for these small businesses. And I think that this is a really great market for people to get involved with.
Absolutely. You said something there. It just piqued my memory a minute. I just wanted to mention, when I say if you can go to a bank, you should, I say that if you're talking only dollars and cents, what it's going to cost you per month. You're going to pay just as much interest. You're just going to pay it over 4 years instead of 2. And you're putting up collateral. So when someone says, oh, I can get an 8% loan at a bank. Well, okay, I don't believe it. But if you are, you're putting up a lot of collateral. And you're going to have to pay that off over 5 or 6 years, which means you're really going to pay about 60% or 40% or 38 or 42% is what you're really going to pay. So you're paying back 1.4 or 1.5 times as well, but you get to pay it off over time, but you're also putting up collateral. So if you need a low monthly payment and you can get approved at a big bank and you want the low monthly payment over a long time, then yeah, go to the bank, as long as you don't mind collateral. I remember with my business, you can see my little ink thing there. It's one of my proud moments is my home office. So it keeps all my things that make me confident in my background. So I apologize if you're not a Michigan fan. But when that company was growing, that's when I needed funds to help maintain that growth that we got awarded for. And that's what I couldn't fund. And when that big bank, if they would have given me the money, I didn't need 6 years to pay it back. I didn't need 5 years. I needed 6 months because we were going to sell all that inventory in 6 months. We had to bottle it every 90 days. And if I could buy 6 months worth, I'd save a ton of money instead of buying 90 days worth and 90 days worth and 90 days worth. I didn't need a 3-year loan. So sometimes going to the big bank isn't a benefit because they make you keep the money for 4 years or 5 years and you have prepayment discounts. We don't have that. So what we say is apply, look at our offer and compare it with your banks. But the odds are, if you're a business owner watching this, like I know, big banks are great. They refer us a lot of business. They'd rather not say no to a client. They'd rather say, sorry, you don't meet our criteria, but here's a company, David Allen Capital, who you might be able to get approved with. And they refer people to us. So I'm not trying to beat them up. They beat us if you're looking for a lot more money than what you're doing in sales. As long as you're willing to put up collateral and you're looking for a longer period of time to pay us, they're going to beat us. They're a better source for you. But they're not always the best source for you. And that's why alternative capital exists. Over $100 billion has been lent out last year to alternative capital. It's not a small business, and we're helping. We'd love to help you as well.
Wonderful. We have a question here from the audience, and I want to extend the invitation to anyone who's with us online that they can write in the chat and submit a question so that we can ask you. People here that are in Orlando with us, if you can text me 904-703-5553 with your question, we'll ask David. The question we have right now is, can a business be pre-qualified so it's sitting there kind of like a line of credit? Can you talk about that a little bit?
That's a great question. Unfortunately, our providers, when they give an offer, it's only good for a couple weeks. The reason being is because they need to know if that money's, when they make an offer and they extend it, that's accounted for. It's not like a big bank that has a line of credit, like a credit card that you can come and use part of it and not part of it. So it's not a line of credit. It is an offer that's good for a couple of weeks. Sometimes we can extend that for good reason, but generally we say this offer is good for 2 weeks. Now, another good thing about what we do is we give renewals. So it's not a line of credit, but let's say you're only approved for $20,000, but you wanted 40. If you don't need all 40 now, you can take 20,000 of it now and use it and pay part of it off over the next 90 days and get another 20. So we call it renewal funding, where maybe you get a shorter term advance and then you get some money, and then when it's half paid off, you can get more money, and when that's half paid off, you can get more money, etc. So a lot of our clients, we've got one client who's gotten 12 advances from us over the last 2 years. 12 times they've gotten money from us. So it's like a line of credit for them, but it's not an open-ended, always approved. Each time they go through it, they got to submit their bank statements again to make sure there hasn't been a massive change in sales or expenses or average daily balance. So they just got to prove there's not been a major change, and then give them the money again.
So, okay, so that's really awesome. How is that initiated? Is it something that the borrower needs to approach DAC, or is DAC thinking about them and reaching out to them at some particular point?
Both. What happens is, as an example, I got a text today from one of my personal clients, said, I'd like more money. What do I need to do? I said, just send me 2 months bank statements, your last 2, and that'll help us determine how much we can get for you. So they initiated it, but we also have an internal team. Once someone has paid off 50% of their advance or loan, they're now eligible for a renewal. So we put them into a queue where we start reaching out and saying, you may now be eligible for an advance. If you're open for more money, let us know. And so we have an automated system that reaches out to them, not selling, just informing that, hey, now it may be available if you ever need more. It may be available now. If you want us to look into it, we'd be happy to go work for you and see what we can do for you. So it goes both ways.
Wow, that's wonderful. And another question from the audience here. Hang on for just one moment. Can you pay off the loan faster than required? Is there any prepayment penalty?
There's not a prepayment penalty like with a big loan, but there is something called a total cost of capital. So when you get that offer for $10,000, let's just say it's $10,000, you're paying back $13,000. You get $10,000, it's wired into your account. You're agreeing to pay back $13,000, so that's what you're agreeing to pay back. If you decide to pay it off early, you're still paying back $13,000. So there's no reason to pay it off early. However, many of our providers, most, give a discount if you pay it off early. So let's say you agree to pay back 13, you know you're paying back 13, and let's say it was over 6 months, and you're only on month 3, and you still owe $1,500, or you still, whatever the amount is, they'll give you a discount on the remaining amount if you pay it off early, but it's usually like 6 or 7%, up to 20% of the remaining interest that you owe, that you get discounted. So you pretty much pay what you've agreed to pay. It's not a huge discount, but there is a discount. There's not a penalty to pay it off early.
Terrific, wonderful. Now, can you explain the difference between the small business lending and the equipment financing? How does that work differently or the same?
Sure, it's quite different. That's why we launched it. There's a couple things. Number one, the requirements are about the same. $10,000 per month in sales, been in business at least 4 months. Actually, an equipment financing, they want you to do business for 1 year because they're giving you more equipment than you can necessarily afford right now, because you're going to have 5 years to pay it back. So it's more like a bank loan, and that you have up to 5 years to pay that back, so you can get approved for a higher amount. And you're leaving the equipment as collateral. So it's going to cost, your monthly payment's going to be lower. You're going to pay out just as much over time, and your equipment you got is up for collateral, and you have to be in business for 1 year. So in some cases it's better, because let's say you are a landscape company and you're growing. And you're really growing, but you're doing $30,000 a month in sales right now. You come to us and we can say we can get you $30,000. You may say that's great, but I got to pay that all off in a year. So I got to generate enough money to buy all the equipment, because I need the 30 grand to buy equipment. So I got to buy all the equipment. So all the money's gone, and now I got to generate enough to pay back that 30,000 plus interest in a year. And you start doing the math in your head, and you go, okay, I can do it. Or we say, we can get you approved for $30,000 in equipment and equipment funding. That equipment's not going to be yours until you've paid it off, and we can extend it for 5 years, and your payment's going to be a lot lower, and you have 5 years to pay it. It's going to cost you the same or more than if you took a loan from us, and the equipment's not yours. At any time, if you start missing payments, they can take that equipment back, but the payment's lower. So, we look at both for people. Generally, what we find is people prefer the working capital because they have a need now that they know is going to generate more revenue. But we are seeing the equipment funding is picking up big time. Chiropractic beds, medical equipment, automotive equipment, dump trucks, tractors. A lot of these people, they can get financing from Caterpillar, but they can't get approved at Caterpillar. They can get Toro leasing for their landscape company, but Toro won't approve them because they have bad credit. We're not real concerned about someone's credit. We're concerned about someone's cash flow. And most business owners have compromised their credit. So we want to take care of those with compromised credit.
And that's really important. Like you said, everybody's trying to make their way, and, everyone can't have an unblemished past. We're all trying to do the best that we can and move forward and be successful. And sometimes there are bumps in that road. So I love the ability that we have to extend to people with less than perfect credit, as long as they have that cash flow coming through. And that's what people need to understand. And can you go into detail about the fact of the cash flow versus actually what they would net or gross in that variance? Is it the money that they see coming through, or do you need to say that this is what they net in their business?
That's a great point. Thank you for mentioning that, Pamela. We're not concerned about the profitability as much as we're concerned with the revenue. So your top line revenue, there's three things in the financial statements that are really important. And I'm talking about your checking account statements. The amount of deposits that are coming in from sales. So transfers from another account, that's not sales. So deposits matter, but deposits from sales matter. So that's number one, deposits from sales. The second thing is your average daily balance. Now that talks about the performance of the business, right? If they're spending everything they're making the day they make it, your average daily balance is going to be low. But if the average daily balance is a sizable amount, that shows some safety to the provider of capital. And then the third thing is days negative. Days negative are really, really destructive to your ability to get capital. So what we tell someone, if you've had more than 3 days negative in the last 30 days, you probably won't get approved. If you've had more than 7 in the last 90 days, you probably won't get approved. Or if you will, it'll be at the highest risk. Doesn't matter if you're doing $400,000 a month in sales. If you've got 7 days negative where you bounce checks, it's a high risk. You're automatically, how are you going to pay back this unless you generate a lot more sales? So what the providers who are giving the money without collateral say is, how much are they doing in sales? How long have they been doing it? What's their average daily balance? And how many days are they zero? And if those things are all good, you could have a 420 credit score. I mean, that's the reality is we tell people they won't need a 500 credit score. But if you got all those 4 things that I just mentioned and you're in the right industry, we really don't have a hard time getting you capital. So obviously there's times where we had someone today who just filed bankruptcy. They just filed, so it's not closed yet. It's not, settled. So they were approved for $75,000, but then when they looked further, they realized they just filed, it just hit the books. So that was not disclosed, and so they turned down the offer because it was just filed. We discharged already.
Wow.
That makes sense. Okay, so I know that we had talked about doing a slide presentation. I don't know if there's anything that we need to cover with this aspect that we haven't already covered, or do we want to go in and talk about what we can do to help these business owners keep more or all of the hard-earned money that they make through any other services we have available to them?
Yeah, I'd rather just talk about it, then we can go to the website at the very end because they're all at the same website. Let's talk about Edge payment processing. Unless there's a question, I'll start into this. Edge payment processing is a brand new payment processing. Folks, business owners, I love this as a business owner, and you get to optionally love it. You'll love it, you get to optionally use it. Let me put it that way. You'll love this, the option. Whether you want to take advantage of it's up to you. But This is why we've been doing payment processing for 3 years, just making it available to our business owners, but we haven't really been promoting it because it's a small savings and it's great, but what we've been marketing hasn't been revolutionary. We now have a service that just launched that is revolutionary. And what it's called is called Edge Processing by David Allen Capital. And what it allows you to do, this is available in every state. It allows you, we've got standard processing where we can save you money, whatever you're paying in payment processing, we all pay the same from Visa. Visa charges us all the same. We all have the same wholesale cost. So it's just like anything else. You're a business owner, you get it. If we all pay $1 for an item, we can sell it for whatever we want. Some are going to sell for $1.50, some are going to sell for $1.40, some are going to sell for $2.20, some are going to sell for $1.10. We all pay the same price. So we can meet or beat whatever price you have, and I'd say we could probably beat it pretty good because we're in the business of taking care of you. Yeah, we want to make a profit, but we're in the business of taking care of you, and we want you to be our client permanently. So we can do standard processing, and that's great. But we've got a new thing, and we give you both quotes. We've got a new thing called Edge Processing, which is state of the art. It's now approved, and you can do this in every state. It's been something that's been worked on for a long time, which allows you for a non-cash customer. So it means all the people that come in your restaurant, in your store, who aren't paying cash, what are they paying with? A credit card. What happens with a credit card? You make less. You sell a $100 item, you only get 96 because you had to pay $4 to Visa, right? So it's now legal. It's been legal in the gas station business where if you use a credit card, you pay more than the gas price, the cash price, because you're choosing to use a credit card. You now have the ability, you don't have to do this, but you have the ability to pass through what's called a non-cash adjustment to the customer. So, give you an example. You determine how much of that adjustment you want to give to the client up to 4%. So let's say your merchant processing costs are 3.5%. If you do a $100 sale and they use a credit card, you get $100, but you have to pay Visa $3.50. You really only made $96.50, right? You paid $3.50 to Visa. You got $96.50, but your price tag said $100. Why'd you only get $96.50? Because the customer chose to use a credit card. Now, if it's a cash back card, you made less because you paid more than that, right? If it's a silver card from Walmart, you paid even more because it's not a good credit card. It's a fly-by-night credit card, just calling it as it is. You know, if it's a Capital One without cash back, you'll pay this much. If it's Capital One with cash back, you pay that. You know this as a business owner. There's over 400 different rate categories you have to pay as a business owner every time someone uses a credit card in your store. Well, now it's legal for you to have a non-cash adjustment added to the bill, just like taxes added, right? And it goes right on the receipt. So if they put in a credit card, that $100, let's say you set up your terminal, which we give you for free, and you set it up to be 4%, the maximum you can do is 4%, passed to the customer as a non-cash adjustment. So they come through, they buy a $100 item, they put in their credit card, and it says, and there's a little sign everywhere it says, we have a non-cash fee adjustment of 4% on any credit card purchase. And that's throughout your store, okay? And they go put in that 100, and they go with the bill, and it's 108. Why is it 108? Well, you got taxes, and you got a non-cash fee. Yeah, in Michigan, you got 4% tax, and you got 4% non-cash adjustments. You're paying 108 for this item. You sign it, and you go. Why is it 108? Taxes and a credit card adjustment, just like at the gas station, okay? This has become, it's the norm already in Canada, it's the norm in Europe, it's now gonna become the norm in America, and guess what? We offer it. We offer it with free equipment to you. So, free equipment, 80% of you would get free equipment. Some of you have elaborate point of sale systems in your restaurants, and we've got some of the best. Some of those there's a cost for depending on how big it is. But for the most part, most of you watching this, you'll get the equipment free and it's already plug and play, ready to go. Now check this out. Let's say you get a customer they've had, what? I didn't know I had to pay more. Why do I have to pay more? Because it's credit card. You simply can put bypass adjustment on it and give them and say, okay, listen, I'll eat your credit card fee on this one. I'll eat the fee that Visa charges on this one. But going forward, these are cash prices we have advertised here. So going forward, just know there's a non-cash adjustment that we have to charge. Now, if you use a debit card and enter a PIN, you're not paid it. You use cash, you don't have to pay it. The only time you're going to have to pay this non-cash adjustment is if you use a credit card then you're gonna have to pay, because we have to pay Visa that. So that's now being passed on to the customer.
So just to reiterate,
In 2 years, that'll be the standard, guys. It's already the standard in gas stations. It will be the standard in every restaurant, everything you do. You can now get it. Now, the average savings is whatever you're paying in payment processing now.
and that's a really big deal. As a small business owner myself, over the course of 20 years, I have had those machines where you had to buy the machine, you have to pay a monthly fee, you have to pay a transaction fee, you have to pay a fee if you don't have enough transactions in a given month, and it goes on and on and on. And it just becomes, ridiculously expensive for a small business owner to try and keep the money in their pocket. And that's why I think that this is such a great opportunity.
And by the way, there's all those fees still exist. Except they're being offset by this adjustment. So Visa still charges all the same fees, but now that you're passing a credit card adjustment onto the customer, at the end of the day, you have to pay on 100,000 in sales. Maybe you're paying Visa 3,700, but you collected 3,800 from your customers. So your credit card fees are zero. So now you do 100,000 in sales, you keep all 100,000. That's saving you $3,000 a month, 36 grand a year in profit to you as the owner. That's why we're excited about it. It just launched last week, and we just launched it last week. Edge has been around. The company we represent has done billions of dollars in transactions over the years. So they're one of the leaders in the space. We decided rather than inventing it, we would represent it, and we're representing the industry leader in this.
Perfect. Okay, great. I don't have any questions yet. If anyone does have any questions to bring up about these particular points before we move on. But the next thing I'd like you to talk about is, what other services do we offer for business owners, for their employees, and for themselves as far as our DAC healthcare is concerned?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll mention two things quickly. We do DAC Telecom, which is every telecom provider in North America we represent. Most of you already have your internet, your phone system, all that. But if you're expanding, or if you don't have up-to-date technologies, if you haven't gotten a new phone system in 2 years, you're overpaying and under technology. Okay, if you don't have Wi-Fi for all your customers free, you're overpaying and you're under technology. We can get you all that. One-stop best offer. We represent AT&T, Microsoft Office, Sprint, Verizon, Vonage, you name it, we represent them. And so if you fill out a pre-qualification form with us, we'll get you, our team will go to work for you. We've got partners who've been in business 20 years representing every carrier. So they go out and find the best offer for you. Doesn't matter what country the customer's in, whether it's a one-person, one-phone shop, all the way up to 25, 30, 50 locations. Doesn't matter. There's no company too big for our suppliers. That's DAC Telecom. We can save you money and get you great technology. The second one is DAC Healthcare. This is another big one. Again, as a business owner, I'm doing all the things that were near and dear to me. Telecom's exciting, but it's not as exciting for me. It's great service, save you money, and without you having to have the intellect caught up with all the technology. You're running your restaurant. You want to worry about phone systems, Wi-Fi for customers, and firewalls, and you don't want to have to worry about all that. You want to make the best menu, right? So let our technology team take care of your telecom for you. Now, when it comes to healthcare, healthcare was something that, healthcare costs continue to rise. It was just reported in the Wall Street Journal last week. The average employee now is $20,000 a year for premiums an employer has to pay. $20,000 a year on average for a family. You got a family, your employer is paying 20 grand. You as a business owner, costs you 20 grand to offer that to your employees. And here's the catch. If you offer healthcare, you must pay 50% of it. If you offer it, you as the employer must, but you know this, you must pay 50%. Well, we found a way around that, even within the law of the new Affordable Care Act, ACA or Obamacare, requires if you offer employee healthcare, you must pay half, and if you have over 50 employees, you must offer it. So you're just adding a ton of costs if they're 30 hours or more, right? Well, we found a way through a co-op program. Throughout North America, it's a co-op system. It's ACA compliant, ERISA compliant, which is a retired requirement that the federal government requires. And because it's ERISA compliant, it's a federal regulation, it can be marketed in every state. This healthcare can be marketed in every state. You can offer it to employees and not have to pay half. So you now can offer it without having to be on the hook for half of it. You can offer a great savings on healthcare. This is what my son uses. He works for us. This is the plan he's got. and you get the healthcare plan at a lower monthly cost, $1 coverage, and we've got 4 different plans for families and 4 different plans for individuals. It's fabulous. And of course, we have licensed experts who can walk you and your employees through all the program. We don't have to. I think you can probably, I'll end with this. As a business owner, you can probably see what we've done is rather than trying to invent a wheel, we said, who's got the best wheels? Let's get them out to the car dealers. Let's get them out to the car manufacturers. So you're a business owner, we're going to find the best sources of capital and bring it to you. We're going to find the best sources of telecom and the best experts, and they're going to come work for you and get you the best program. We're going to find the best source of payment processing and represent it. We're going to find the best source of healthcare and bring it to you. So we'll put you on the phone with them, and they can walk you through how to get all your employees taken care of. It'll save them a ton of money. You'll be a hero offering them a healthcare plan. They can say no. You don't have to pay any of it if you don't want to, or you can pay some of it. Pretty cool thing.
It is, and it's just nice to know that there are options out there for people, and it may not be the best scenario for everyone, but it could be the perfect scenario for someone. And so that makes me very happy to know about that. So unless we have any additional questions, is there anything else that you'd like to add? Did you want to go through any of the slides, or you think we've covered?
I can go to the website just to show where you can go on the website. Let me go to share my screen. And let me see here. I've got to go to this page here. Okay, so this is what our website looks like. And do you see my screen, Pamela?
I can. Yes, it looks perfect. Yes.
So this is the David Allen Capital website. If you want to go check out Business Capital, and for privacy reasons, you may not want the person who referred you to, no one I knew I had this opportunity to bottle extra juice and I needed money for it. And unless they were giving it to me, it was a private thing, right? So if you want to go, the person who referred you, they'll send you to davidallencapital.com/their ID number. When you're there, you can go to Business Capital, you can go to Equipment Financing, or you can go to Payment Processing. If you go to Payment Processing, you can learn more. There's a nice video here you can learn more about. If you hit play there, it talks about it. You can go down and see what kind of savings you'll get with Edge. If you're doing $10,000 a month in revenue right now, you'll save about $4,800 a year. That's more profit to you. If you're doing $50,000 a month in processing, you're going to save about $24,000 a year going in. This is estimate, but that's based on average fact that we've had, limited up to 95% of your processing fees. If you want to request a quote, you just click request a quote and you fill out this information. When you fill out this information, do you currently accept cards? How many locations? How much processing? How do you take cards? You fill this out, you hit submit. That's it. And we reach out to you and we go to work for you. If you want Business Capital, same thing. You can watch this handsome dude here. I love showing this.
I'm David Rutz.
Oh, there's me. That's the handsome fellow you're looking at right there. And you can go through and learn more about everything we said. I've already covered all this, but just so you know, if there's anything you forgot, you can go read this on our website. Of course, you want funds, you click on it. What same thing. How much are you looking for? How much sales? And this will tell you right here if you're qualified. How much are you looking for? 50,000. It says must be doing at least 50,000 in sales. Okay? So it's got everything you need there. How many deposits from sales? You need to have at least 3 deposits a month. So there's things you can answer here. When you answer this, you hit submit at the bottom and you get pre-qualified. So same with equipment financing. You can learn more and you can see all the type of equipment you can finance. All this is right on the website. Get started, you click there and you fill out this form. So each one of these has a different form based on what you're trying to get capital for. If you're saying, well, David, I don't know if I need business capital loans or I don't know if I need equipment financing, go to the business capital and fill that one out. And when you get the application, you can notify our team. It's the same team that works on both. You can notify our team you're kind of undecided, you're not sure. And it all depends on what you're buying. If you're buying equipment with it, you can select that. So this is the website.
Yeah, if I can interrupt you for just a moment, and there is something important here because we're talking to small business owners. And I think it's important to recognize the fact that people who are bringing this to them are also small business owners of a different sort and type. And so in that form, it was a good thing to see that there's a place that will self-populate the agent's name and ID number. If you don't see that populate, make sure that you get back with the person that referred you here, because we want to make sure that they're going to get credit for the work that they're doing as well. And as a fellow small business owner, of course, you can appreciate that.
Absolutely. And we always find out if that is left blank, because periodically we'll find out from the business owner who referred them, because we want to give appropriate credit to the people who referred. Our business model is one of, we're not paying expensive advertising. We're not paying television commercials. What we're doing is passing it on to small business owners like the person who referred you, that they can get a small commission for referring you to us. And that is keeps our cost of acquisition down, cost of customer acquisition, allows us to give you better rates or pricing, and allows us to provide a nice income opportunity for someone out there to earn part-time money or full-time money, helping business owners like you. Our healthcare website, I'm not going to go through it here just because jumping through Zoom, is DAC Healthcare, DAChealthcare.com/the ID number, whoever sent you here, DAChealthcare.com. Our telecom site is DACtelecom.com/the ID number, whoever referred. You can learn more about those, and they have the same thing. You fill out a form, and then the team takes over from there, reaching out and talking to you. You don't have to talk to the person who referred you. You can, of course, but we wanted it set up where people with at least 5-10 years experience talking on that specific product can be on the phone talking to you, so you have an expert working with you rather than just the warm relationship. You may be fortunate to have an expert who referred you, but just in case you don't, know that we've got an expert inside our teams that are going to be talking to you about your business and your needs.
And you know what I find really fascinating, David, as I've learned more about this program, is that people that I come in contact that are small business owners, they get excited about the benefit that they're seeing with these loans, and they decide to become agents to share with colleagues. And what better way to share with people than somebody who's dealing in the same field or the same type of a business that you are, that you can now share that with others and receive commission on that as well. And I think that that's just something that I don't want us to overlook, that people have an opportunity. And as small business owners, we often are looking for different ways to, increase our income.
Absolutely. If you don't, some of you don't need capital today, but you're probably in business with someone who does, or have business owner friends or family who does. So please share David Allen Capital with them. Whoever referred you to this, share their link to friends and family who are in the business community. And heck, we've even helped people who are owed money by business owners who don't have the money to pay it. Then we get the person who owes the money capital to help pay a bill, and the person who referred us is the one receiving the payment for the bill. So, and yes, you can become an agent as well. We don't pay agents on your own business. You can't get a commission on your own loan, of course, but if you want to refer others, you can absolutely become an agent with us and go through our training program and become authorized to earn commissions by referring these services to others.
I love it, because everybody wins. The people that are owed the money win, the people that owe the money win. It really works out beautifully. Okay, so I have a question from the audience about another aspect of what DAC offers, travel and event discounts. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, this is a new industry we went into. We've got great travel discounts for our agents. It's wholesale travel. It's not available to business owners out there, but it's amazingly low hotel rooms, basically, at a wholesale rate. We just launched last week event planning, group event planning. So these are for large events, at least 10 rooms or more. But I mean, these guys do events with 30,000, 40,000 room nights. I mean, we're talking some of the biggest festivals in the world our partners support. One of the things we want to do is always have great partners. And so this travel partner, you could go to DAC Event Travel. So DACEventtravel.com, and you can get a quote for, it doesn't matter if you've got a soccer team that's traveling and you have 20 families going for 3 nights, as long as you have 10 room nights, they'll go to work for you and get you great rates for free. You don't have to pay for their service. They're going to negotiate with the hotel. They're going to find the best hotel rates for you. If you need more, the bigger it gets, a wedding, an out-of-town wedding, a family reunion, a company event like what we're doing, the company events some of you are in town to see. But that right there, that could have saved everyone money on a special group rate without the person hosting the event having to go negotiate it, know how to negotiate it, talk to all the hotels to negotiate it. You fill out a form. So if you're a business owner and you have any out-of-town events, if you have any group events at all, if you ever host anything out of town, whether it's a summit, an executive retreat, awards trips, anything like that, rather than you even spending 3 hours looking at it, you tell these people what you want. They go to work and they come back with you with options, and you pick from the options. It's carte blanche service where they're coming up and giving you everything you need, and you get savings. When it's all said and done, you're paying less, and you don't have to do any work. So it's fabulous. We recommend you take a, if that is you, daceventtravel.com.
Now, is that also one that you would put the / and an ID number, or is that different?
It is, because it just launched last week, you'll have to manually enter the agent's name of the person who referred you.
Okay,
But
great.
by the time this is viewed by someone, if they're watching it in recorded form, yeah, they could put / their ID number and it'll auto-populate.
Okay, great. And so you're talking about businesses having the option to do this. Could you do this if you were just planning a family reunion, as long as you have 10 or more rooms?
As long as you have 10 or more, you don't have to be a business owner. If you're, I mean, most of this people watching this are business owners. That's who we're sending this to. But if you happen to, again, if your neighbor's having a wedding and they've got 10 or more rooms or a family reunion, by all means, tell them about our website. Share the good news. We get compensated a little bit to bring this business process forward to people. So we're helping them out and we're earning for it. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Okay, now a little bit more clarification. We have someone asking the room nights, does that equal the room time, the nights of stay, or the number of hotel rooms?
They're looking at, they want minimum 10 travelers, 10 hotel rooms. So they're not looking for 3 travelers over 3 nights. And 10's the minimum. You can imagine on 10 rooms, there's not a lot of profit going to get back to this event planner. So we had to put a minimum. But they're looking for 10 rooms. And the more nights, the better. That's the minimum. But once you get into 30 or 40 room nights, so like 10 people for 3 nights, now it's like there's significant savings available because that's a big business. That's a big thing you can offer. And they know how to negotiate with the Hyatts and the Marriotts and the, I'll give an example. I got a buddy, he's the chief marketing officer at Quicken Loans. So they own the Cleveland Cavaliers and they own this company and that company. And one of our providers, Rapid Finance, and he's got connections everywhere and he's always on the road. So he's got his Marriott rewards. And we did an in-town event. He's my neighbor. So we had all our kids. We went to an in-town hotel with an indoor pool. We live in Michigan. It was a lot of snow. We needed to get out. And he went and used his Marriott executive, kind of like Tom Chenault type travel perks. And he went and got his special room rate. And I just went to our DAC Travel, which is available for our agents. And I got the same room at a little bit lower price. And I got free hors d'oeuvres and stuff thrown in. I was at the executive level without having to. So here I was. I wasn't a Marriott reward umpty-ump. I was just a DAC Travel member. So, it's not always. If you go look at Vegas right now at DAC Travel, you can get rooms for $18 a night, Stratosphere and things like that. So Orlando, where you're at, I can only imagine how inexpensive some of those rooms are that you're staying in.
It's a beautiful place. I want to give you some feedback. Beth says that she loves the graphic where they can see the savings. So that is really beneficial. A lot of people are visual, and when you can do that sliding scale and see the difference, that's really phenomenal. Becky said this company is really awesome, and the arsenal of products not only save small businesses lots of money on the things they need to be in business, but also can help them grow their business. So that's kudos to you in the hard work and efforts that you and the entire DAC team are doing. Okay, there's another question just came in. Can we get car rental on DAC Travel?
We can't at this time. I mean, we can, but there's not a whole lot of value in it to our partners to go to work and negotiate all that. The car rental companies don't pay a whole lot. So you're better off using one of these cashback type sites. I use carrental.com. They're basically like we are to the business capital space. They represent all the car rentals. And so I would just say, check out carrental.com. That's who we use and who I've found to be the best provider. But no, there's no way to get paid on it right now, unfortunately.
Perfect. But you know what? I love that you are providing value to give them a chance to know where they can go to get something that we may not offer now or may never offer. But it's the point of we're trying to do the best that we can to help people to save money and make better money.
Absolutely. And like our event travel, they'll get SeaWorld discounts and they'll get the hotel to throw in Disney World tickets if it's Orlando. I mean, they know how to do amazing things. They'll put websites up for festivals. And there's a big festival in Houston right now, or coming up. And there's 40,000 room nights they got booked. And they've got the website put up, and it's some rap festival or something. And every hotel in town is negotiating to get the best prices so that everyone stays there. And who's doing it all? Our company. They're the ones managing all the negotiations. So they can do anything for you. But some things, we can't get savings at Uber and we can't get savings at Thrifty, and unfortunately. Not
You
yet.
know what? I love it. You're hitting everybody in the pocketbook here in Orlando, because we were talking over dinner about what the costs are to go to any of the theme parks that are here, whether it's Disney or Universal or SeaWorld, and it's kind of crazy to think about the benefit that people can get.
If you're an agent, and now I know business owners are watching this, but for the agents watching, you can go to DAC Travel and get theme park discounts. So check it out.
Exactly. Terrific. Well, I think that's the end of the questions that we have. David, is there anything else that you'd like to add, or is there anything we've missed?
I'll just end by saying this. If you happen to watch this and you have a question, you can email me, david@davidallencapital.com. Of course, I would encourage you to get with whoever referred you to this. But you can email me. I'm happy to take your questions and help you out. And I just want you to know this. This company was started, I began with this, but I believe business owners are rock stars. I say it that way. I love you for what you do. I love the risk you took in starting that business or taking over that business. I love the fact that you do what you can to employ more people and grow your business. And you, when it comes down to it, we know when it comes down to it, that you're the person who has to take payment last so you can pay your staff or pay your inventory. And we just want you to know that we're not trying to straddle you with debt. We're trying to fuel your growth. We run an empowerment play, not a debt play, right? And we also want you to know that we want to help you out in your payment processing in a major way. We want you to be a rock star offering that that healthcare to your employees. Instead of saying you can't, just offering it. They don't have to take it. But now you're a better employer because you're offering it. You're better prepared because you can fuel your growth if you have expansion going on or you're in a tight pinch. And you can start keeping more of your own sales through this edge processing. Everyone's going to do it. You don't need to wait. You can always bypass it. So let us help you grow your business. That's what we want to do. That's my passion, is starting this business to help business owners like you. The commissions follow us. Yes, we get paid for this, of course. But we're going to serve you first. That's our main priority. And every one of our agents, we tell them the same thing. We serve clients first. The mission will create the commissions. Don't worry about the commission. Follow the mission of serving the clients you know. Take care of them, not just once, but as long as they're a business owner. Let's help them get from one restaurant to 20. Let's help them get from 20 to 100. And let's save them a bunch of money. And if we can do that, yeah, the banks will pay us a nice commission and the processors will pay us a little bit. We can all make a little bit of money by serving clients. But in the end, we're helping Joey's Pizza becoming Joey's franchise. And we're helping Anna's cement company become nationwide instead of one location. So we love business owners. I thank you for what you're doing. Whether you can use our services or not, thank you for employing America and being a business owner in our community. We love you for it.
Oh, David, thank you so much. I'm just so grateful that you would take time out of your busy schedule to spend with all of us. I hope that this is something that we can do on a more consistent basis, because I do think there's a need for us to be able to do this virtually. Saves money on travel, right? And we can help to work with these business owners all across the country and do some really good things. So with that, I'm going to end the webinar for this evening. If anyone has any interest in learning how to become a David Allen Capital agent, or is an interest in that part of our aspect, please get back with the person who brought you to watch this video. David does really terrific trainings for our DAC agents specifically. That's why I didn't really want to go into it here. This is something a little bit differently, a different perspective of that. So again, thank you so much for all your time. David, thank you. God bless. And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you. It's an honor. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Have a great night, everybody.